All right, we're live.
So, the Mets, they got Joey Lucchesi, right? What do you want? What do you guys want to talk about?
Joey Fuego. That's a
Joey
sick name.
Fuego's in the building. All things are good right now in Mets life. I think we needed this as a fan base. I think we needed to be reminded who we are. Get back to our roots. We're getting a little too cocky. We're getting a little too comfortable. And I'd rather have we'll get into the actual creepiness of this whole thing. And obviously there's a lot more at stake than baseball. But what we're here to talk about is being a Mets fan. And I would rather be reminded of this in January than in, October in the middle of like a run or something like that. So let's, we dealt with this once with a manager who never made it to a single game. I can certainly do it again with Jared Porter. I don't give a fuck about Jared Porter. See you later, dude. Like, I was told, this is why I don't get excited. Like, Jets fans are all pumped about their new coach. People get excited about their front office hires. You never fucking know. And I never want to get excited about this shit anymore because this is the kind of stuff that happens. Yeah, we all thought Jared Porter was the best until we find out that he's a certified sociopath. I mean, this is some fucking insanity. So, see you fucking later. I had no attachment to him. Thanks for the Lindor trade. Now get the fuck out of here. We'll put our number 2 in place, or let Sandy run the show, or go get another guy, and we can just now proceed with a little more, at least maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I'm going to proceed with a little more caution, because this was a very healthy reminder that the Mets will somehow, some way, always find a way to be the Mets.
That's the most fucked up thing about it is this happened when he was with the Cubs. He went to the Diamondbacks. None of this stuff bubbles up.
All the more Mets, though, right? The most Mets thing in the world is that we have to deal with the same thing with Beltran. We never cheated. We had to deal with we had to bear the brunt of that. We never dealt with this fucking guy, and now we're the ones. So that's the most Mets thing ever. But you're right. It didn't happen under our watch.
And like 62, man, what the fuck? I mean, we'll get into it. That's just the thing that keeps hitting over head is just like you hear these stories all the time about like these women who are just trying to just do their jobs and they just get completely like railroaded or like hit these walls with these fucking lunatics, these scumbags. It's people in the in the like front offices. It's people in the media, right? We have all these different people, like the lady who got catfished by the Barstool Sports thing that ended up not being true, all that kind of stuff. And it's just unbelievable that just shit happens all the goddamn time. And then the fact that
let's not forget about the girl that Jeff Wilpon fucking railroaded. Let's not forget about Steve Phillips' creepy ass. It's been everywhere for a long fucking time.
And 62 text messages? Like, that's not a one-off. That's not like you're drunk texting some girl that's not answering you. That's over the course of
3 weeks.
Weeks.
Yeah. I mean,
that's fucking absurd.
We live in an era where the phrase double texting has become a thing, where they say you shouldn't text twice in a row. This guy added 60 to that. This guy went Mark McGuire on him, hit 62. That to me, like the unsolicited dick pic is, I think that's like actually illegal. That's, that's the actionable thing where it's like, you can say, this guy sent that to me, like do something about it. The reality is, unfortunately, every single girl in the world has dealt with an unsolicited dick pic. They open it up and they look at it and they're like, oh my God, it's disgusting. They block you. Her and her girlfriends make fun of you for having an ugly dick. Never once has an unsolicited dick pic worked. Never once has a girl been like, I'm not into this guy. Oh, surprise dick. You know what? Now I like him. It's 0 for a billion. So for Jared, but that happens, unfortunately. The stupid selfie, the mouth open Tyler O'Day selfie, awful. The emojis typing out, awful. All of his text game is terrible. But the 62 is like unheard of. That's where you cross into territory of like, there's something wrong with your brain that you don't understand what's going on right now. I mean, that's why great job by the Mets for firing right away. I mean, any other course of action was insane, not only because it's the right thing to do, not only because the PR, like you have to do it for PR purposes. From a business point of view, I can't believe this guy ever made it to GM. I can't believe this guy ever had like negotiating skills. I can't believe he had personal skills. I can't believe anybody that would send 62 unanswered text messages would ever rise to one of the most prominent positions in a bajillion-dollar industry. It's insane. It's fascinating. Like if you've ever talked to one girl, you know that like you can't do this. If you've ever had a friend or a business partner or if you've ever communicated with someone, you should know that you can't do this. So in my mind, Jared Porter is like, he's never had a friend or a girlfriend or anything in his entire life. It's the only explanation.
We always talk about how like baseball GMs and the people in the front office now, they're like these weird nerds that just like look at numbers and don't like know how to like deal with it. Like, just give me the fucking person who just knows Excel like the back then. And that's what it feels like. It feels like someone who just doesn't have like a human connection at all. Like, what's the number for you guys? What is the number of texts where it's like I send it not even to a girl or someone you don't know, but just to like people like your friends?
That's
like
what's crazy. Like, like if you had, I'm trying to think of a situation. If you had history with someone, if you are in a relationship, if you're in a fight, if you know someone for a long time, if you're, you know what I mean? Like you have a 10-year relationship and then something drastic happens and you're just like firing off text messages. But this is a girl he doesn't know, that he never even hung out with. He just met her in an elevator once and was trying to like woo her. I mean, I don't think I'd send, you send one, you send maybe a follow-up, and then if somehow, some way, maybe you were like struck by Cupid and completely entranced, you'd send a third, maybe.
It's even though like
beyond that,
him saying, "Oh, I think I saw you in the ballpark." Like now you're just getting into like stalker territory, dude. Like and she literally said she was hiding,
dude. For when he gets so all right. Let's break down like some of the details of it all. ESPN has these details for 3 years.
Yeah,
2017.
Fuck them.
So, yes. And then the girl involved, the victim, said that there was a language barrier. I'm guessing this girl's Asian. I don't know why. But there was a language barrier. She worked in baseball as like a journalist, didn't want her career to be adversely affected. And so she said, please don't put it out. Now she's moved on to a new industry. And she says, I don't care anymore, so you can go ahead. That's all well and good. That's smart. That's protecting. That's just good journalism. For sure. I also think you're being naive if you're not considering that him being promoted to GM a couple weeks ago played into this. Because you can drop this article, and if it's a head scout was creeping on a girl, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. You screwed over it. Maybe we talk about it because we're diehard Mets fans. Other than that, nobody cares. So GM, him becoming GM, I think definitely plays into this because they want their clicks and their attention and all that. The girl involved, what do we know her position? Because she was like the funniest thing to me was when Porter, after being outed, so she says there's a language barrier. When she got home, someone in her family saw the text messages and was like, this is not okay. And she sends the response like, don't ever do this again. Porter immediately is like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this. Like, please forgive me. And then just sends a picture of Dodger Stadium. Like, that was his final message. It was like, hey, I'm at the stadium. Like, one last Hail Mary. Like, hey, maybe we can just have a normal conversation and pretend that I haven't assaulted you with 62 straight text messages. Fucking insane, man.
It's that's the word for it. It's fucking insanity. And I don't like, why just be normal? That's what you always say, Eric. Just be normal. We just need normal people. And that's the thing is they hired him. Like when the Mets hired him, we even said on the podcast, it seemed like it was like they were going towards the, hey, let's build this organization from the top down where it's just like regular people taking care of everyone's a person in this organization now. And I will say this, obviously this is a terrible, like it looks bad for the Mets because of their history and all that shit, but like they didn't know this going in. If ESPN had told them, it would have been nice. I don't know. They said like she had quit her job in the media, so that's why they could come out with it now. Yeah. The timing is weird. Hey, listen, the guy just lost his fucking dream job. He's out of baseball. It's a good fucking thing that it did come out when it did, instead of down the road even more. And hopefully this stops people from doing it in the industry and all industries and all that kind of shit. And it also is going to be a notice. Yo, Uncle Stevie's in town. Heads are gonna fucking roll if you do this kind of shit. And it's it's like this, the new GM, right after he gets Frankie Lindor for a song, he's fucking out. And everyone's like, fire him immediately. Like last night, you have like there's like legal things I think you have to do. We have to
this was, I think, the fastest you can fire someone like humanly possible. Yeah, like, you do have to still work within the bounds of business and reality and like paperwork even. So like relax. We did it as fast as possible. So
you can't just go off. You can't just go off of reports. I mean, the Giants went off of reports about DeAndre Baker. They cut him, and then it turned out he was framed for a fucking robbery. Right? You have to. You can't go based off reports, even with like text messages and evidence. There's like a lot of shit. You just have to be like And still, I think what was that, like a 9-hour turnaround? That's pretty
because
bad.
because that was the thing, is that Porter never denied it. He said that it happened, and he went with the old joke stock photo defense.
What the fuck was that? Where do you go on like fucking Getty Images or stock photos, Shutterstock, for like, where's the I want to send a fake dick pic? Like, what does that even mean? I don't understand that.
I mean, that is the worst defense possible. Like, it was a personalized selfie of your face. It was a picture of your bulge and then a picture of your dick. That ain't stock photos, my friend. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking with that. It's one of the worst defenses I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, I think he at first he said no comment, and then he went back to ESPN and was like, "Hey, if you're gonna run the article, can you give me like a little more time?" And they said, "No, fuck off." So I think it was probably like a phone call to Jared, like, "Is this real?" He was like, "Yep," and they're like, "See you fucking later." I like that Steve Cohen. I hate that he's on Twitter because of things like this. I think this is where it's like stupid, because now it's like you can't just go back to joking about the ballpark when you got a serious issue. And now forever, every time he tweets, he's going to get just flooded with replies of like, "Remember that time you hired a fucking predator?" But I do like, if you're going to be on Twitter, like, I hate it. I wish it wasn't the case. If you're going to be on it, though, like, he just tweeted it. Like, that's where we found out the news. We didn't wait for, the outlet to report it. Like, he just told you. He's just wearing it. I mean, nothing more you can do. I guess it's embarrassing that it's like, yeah, maybe we didn't do like enough due diligence. I don't think these are like things you would find in the regular course of vetting someone for a job. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I get from ESPN standpoint, they don't want it to be like a Sturgill Deadspin situation where they're outing this poor girl in 2017 when she said no. But like, there's other avenues you could go to leak that story where it's not linking her name whatsoever, and it's getting him taken out of the game in 2017 versus like he went and worked for a completely different organization where he had more power than he did as a head scout. So like, and that's not a one-off. You don't send 62 messages and then never go through those same yes, exactly, those same motions again. So
yeah, I mean, it is like weird. They are going to catch heat. I mean, there are people saying it for the wrong reasons, just being like, "This is a smear campaign against a regular guy." It's like, okay, dude, you've sent your dick around to people who didn't want it. But I think you can make the argument of like, while yes, like, we don't know who it is right now. If you wrote this same article in 2017 and said an unnamed source, unnamed victim, that's it. It's the same. I don't think I don't know what the rules are there. Like, if someone says to you, "It's my story, I gave you the details, and I'm telling you not to run it," I don't know if do you have a right or even a duty to be like, "Sorry, I have to do this," because I do think there's a legitimate argument of like, well, how many more people did this happen to while you were sitting on it? So
it's like the fucking Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm. Right. Really.
How many times are you gonna just keep sending these people into like new pools of people that you're putting around them, and like they have power?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made in that front. I don't know how that all works. I don't know how it's going to shake out, but I mean, God, you know what's funny? I hate to admit this because it means I wasn't like keeping up on my shit. I had never really seen Jared Porter, and I took one look at him, and I was like, that guy looks suspect. Got that Buzz McAllister look going. Met Favre over here just throwing around his dick. I just can't believe that becoming a GM is like, you got to be savvy and quick and witty and like thinking on your toes and personable. And how is this fucking possible? But I guess, like you said, everyone's the analytical robot nerds now.
Yeah, like just like some of these people, I feel like they just don't know how to like talk to women, or they just like 62 text is like, honestly, it's fucking Mets misery bracket. Throw that in fucking one seed, right? And
absolutely. I mean, this is top of the fucking list, no doubt. Which is why, Clem, the way that it unfolded for you was incredible. I mean, I love when you can tell that someone's not on Twitter. Like none of us had even talked to Clem, and we realized he was either. It was kind of, what time was? I guess it was 11. So I was like, yeah, like he could be in bed for sure.
I could be up, but at that point, dad life, I'm asleep usually by 11.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, he's got both the kids, and like he's probably snoozing. And when he wakes up, so I called you once even because I just didn't want you to roll over and open up Twitter right away. So we brainstormed and we were like, let's all send the same text message. Don't open Twitter until you're recording yourself, and you do it at what, 3:30 in the morning?
3:30 in the morning. I went to sleep. I passed out putting Sienna and AJ to bed. Well, Sienna to bed. I sleep in her room, and my phone was at 10%. It was at almost dead. So I'll usually just scroll in bed, wait for her to fall asleep, and leave. But at this point, I'm like, I got to charge the phone anyway. So that just means I'm gonna fall asleep, right?
Right.
Oh, we got literal phones beeping right now as it's going on. And then so I wake up, I go in the room, and I think we all do this. We're at Barstool now, and I think sports fans in general. I always, whenever I wake up, I always check my phone to make sure like something crazy hasn't happened, to blog it, to react to it, or just we're addicted to our phones. I see Kyle and Joey Langone. First two things: do not open Twitter, get your reaction. I'm thinking this is either really good or really bad right away. And at that point, it's 3:30 in the morning, whatever. And I'm walking downstairs. The heat is off in the basement. I'm freezing my ass off. And I'm like, all right, let's see what the fuck it is.
The last time this was when there was some ridiculous ending to the game. Remember that? Where you weren't watching, you were on strike because it was extra innings.
Yes, Jason Vargas, the Jason Vargas game. And I was
I got to
how much
happened. Yeah. That was
you relayed the entire game, and I had to and Vargas threw like a one hitter or something.
Yes.
There's something crazy. And the last time I had this kind of reaction to a sleep when I slept through something was Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, and we thought he was going to the Knicks. And Big Cat is like, Clem, just keep sleeping. Sleep is the only escape. Mama Clancy said it best.
Yeah.
Sleep is the only escape. I would give anything to be in that room, sleeping away. Me and my girl Sienna would just sleep the night away. No, nothing but sugar plums dancing in her head. And I have a fucking predator GM who is like the biggest hire of this franchise, right off the bat. It was Steve Cohen's first move after owner, because I feel like Sandy was already kind of linked to him. By the way, Sandy Alderson, whoever, I said Sandy Alderson is going to be like Robert De Niro in Meet the Parents with this next GM. He's going to fucking he's never going to need a lot of technique. He's just going to hold your fucking veins, and he's going to be like, did you ever do any stupid, dumb, creepy ass shit, you fucking weirdo? And they're going to be like, no, Sandy, I swear to God, I didn't. By the way, speaking of Uncle Stevie on Twitter, we have a first response to Twitter. This is an Uncle Stevie fresh tweet after the termination. Don Howitzer at Howitzer Don tweeted at him, caving to cancel culture is abhorrent. Now that his life has been ruined, what is his path to redemption, Mr. Cohen? This is his reply to Stevie saying he's fired. And Steve said, I have no idea. I have an organization of 400 employees that matter more than any one individual. No action would have set a prior example to the culture I'm trying to build. So boom, there it is.
I don't know what he does for redemption. I don't fucking care if he redeems himself. He ain't gonna quit my organization. Good luck, bro. I hope you do redeem yourself and you never do it again. You can go do that for someone else, not my team.
Yep.
Yeah. You're not that talented at your job, anybody, to get away with something like that. Like, his career's done. He's gonna go work in like the independent league or like fucking Wally Backman ball, where he's gonna be like the GM of the Ducks, where it's like, Kev, we'll give you a bag of peanuts for Barry Bonds.
Absolutely. I mean, that is like that to me. The cancel culture there's an argument to be made, but not when you're like dead in the wrong. Like, this is not a new thing. If you did this back in the day, like, you're gonna fucking lose your job too. If you did this in like the 50s, you're not gonna lose your job. But any recent time in modern history, you can't do this. You get fired for it. This is nothing new. So anybody who's like lumping this in with like a comedian who makes a joke or a podcaster who said something edgy or something, like, get out of here. Not the same thing at all, you fucking morons. And again, you probably sent 62 messages and you dick to a girl. Anybody who's like staunchly team Jared Porter right now, I don't think so.
Why? Like, this is like a reminder, though. It's like this.
Does this scare you a little bit? Like, where I was like, okay, I thought that the power and the money and the success of Steve Cohen would outweigh the mush. And like, here we are, like his first move, the first guy he was like, yes, I hire you. Turns out, and I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying, like, maybe the dark magic, the black magic, or the black cloud over the Mets is like maybe not even the great and powerful Steve Cohen can overcome it. I'm getting a little nervous about that.
Again, it's not in our franchise, but it's like it seems like there's just something just rotten in the core, something on a fucking Indian burial ground, all that kind of shit.
But we cut out the, we got rid of the fucking infection, cut out the gangrene, we got rid of the Wilpons, and not even before the first season can start, we have one of our worst scandals ever. It's like, oh fuck, maybe this is never.
It's like, and do bad things come in bunches? Like, later today, do we get news that the Blue Jays signed Springer, and then it's just like, well, what the fuck?
I'm hoping that this makes Cohen be like, let's just go give him what he wants, because we need to change the story here. Maybe there'll be some good that comes out of this for the.
And he did cover his ass though, because we signed Zach Scott to be assistant GM, and he was our second choice.
Right.
So it's like we hired two GMs.
Yeah.
So you'd have to think that they're just going to move him into GM. And again, Sandy's managing baseball shit again. He's like, what the fuck do I have to do? Like, I've had cancer twice. I don't want to deal with this bullshit.
Right.
I thought I was just going to run the office.
Ball players, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like, this is crazy how I'm just thankful it wasn't the exact same day. The Beltron firing was January 16th. It was almost 1 year to the day. Like that, this week is just cursed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sienna made this for me. She wanted to show you guys. We got I don't know what's going on here, but it's not good.
Very nice.
That looks
nice snowman.
That looks like a Jared Porter check.
Oh, Jesus. What is this? What is he?
Round, fat guy with a fucking dick.
Snowman? The snowman, what's that?
A snow cone.
A snow cone. Oh, it's like an ice cream cone. A snowman cone. That's good. There we go.
That's a very important thing to clarify. Understood.
Yes. Unbelievable.
Amazing. Well, you know, as long as the players on the field don't do anything and they win, I don't know.
How much did he really have to do with the Lindor trade? Like, he's been there for a few weeks.
True.
Sandy's been putting it together behind the scenes. Like,
True.
if you want to attach his name to it, great. How about this? Brody Van Wagenen sitting at home thinking, you know what? Maybe that Diaz and Cano trade wasn't so bad after all.
Brody Van Wagenen is no longer the most disgraced GM in like the last year for the Mets.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Within a matter of months, he was taken out. It's crazy. I just wonder, like, if this dude, like you said, this isn't the first time and only time he's done it. And he had to know about this because like ESPN had approached him before and whatnot. So dude was probably just waiting, you know. He's probably like, there's probably a part of him that's like relieved, like, all right, so like at least it's happened now, and I can like, because you probably just keep going about your life and your career, and you keep getting promoted, and you're like, all right, like awesome. It's like when you run for president, like when you officially run for president, they're gonna dig up all the dirt. He was probably like, all right, I'm GM, like here we go. And
if they got Ken Bone, they can get you. Like Ken Bone got outed. He was like the most vanilla looking dude in the planet. He didn't have 62 texts going to some like just poor reporter just getting annihilated. Yeah. What a scumbag. I forgot about what was the guy? Zach Scott. What's the name of the GM? The assistant GM?
Yeah, Zach Scott.
Zach Scott. So I feel like that's going to be the next guy in line for us. It's this Lindor thing. I think Sandy was saying it was like came together recently, but I feel like the groundwork was there before they hired Porter. So I don't feel like he was that important. It's just like they got to just not have this happen again.
There was one report that like an anonymous Met was like, you have to fire him right away, and then like texted Sandy being like, what more details do we need? It's like, well, I mean, they did, so fucking relax. But
yeah,
you know, the Mets handled this as good as you can handle it. So
yeah. It's just like it's so rampant in general that I mean, obviously, all like the journalists are coming out with their own stories about shit that they've had to deal with, and it's women in sports in general. Like I've worked for the league, I've worked for teams, and like there's creepy dudes, and you're like, well, what the fuck?
I wonder.
Like, I'm just trying to start my career.
What's more like probable is like the world cleans up and guys are just like, all right, like you just can't do this anymore. Like if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, cell phones are like relatively new in the history of, you know, the world really. And so like, are they going to look back on it and be like, yeah, in the beginning, these people didn't know what they were doing with these things. They would just send pictures of their dick everywhere. It was crazy. And then like they clean up their act. Or is it more probable that we're like, well, I don't know, everyone in the world apparently is a fucking creep who sends their dick around. So, like, I don't know, we can't fire everybody. It seems like, I mean, it seems like it's a problem that's like, can it actually be fixed? Or, I don't know. I mean, you hope so, but Jesus Christ.
The open mouth selfie is like his biggest defense for like insanity. Like where in your brain do you think that is gonna be like, oh, now I'm gonna hit you back because you look like a fucking moron. What are you thinking there? The headband too. Tyler O'Day is taking some serious shots from all that too.
It's tough, man. You don't want to be, in the same conversation with Jared Porter, Jared Fogle. Not a good day for Jared's. Rocket. Just keep going by the Rocket. Don't use that name.
The Rocket's just doing that to save himself from the Jared name. That's a good point. And I did say this. I said in when he was first hired, there's a picture of him with his sunglasses on. He's kind of looks like he looked like a guy who'd be a good person to have a beer with. But the introductory press conference, he seemed a little off, and he had like the little blinking eye thing going on. I'm like, something a little off about him, but maybe it's not. Turns out,
Do not
first instincts were right.
No
beers, no waters, no nothing. I know.
Do not get my number. Do not text me.
He gets none of the Coors Light.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
Coors.
none of the Coors Lights.
All right.
Parade's still on. Parade's still on, though. Parade's still on.
Also, assuming, we don't know what happens with coronavirus, but I have picked out all of our Barstool at the Ballpark outings, which it's pretty stacked this year with a lot of good matchups and a couple like Saturday 4 p.m. dates. So if we are allowed back out there, Barstool at the Ballpark will return at an even cheaper rate than usual because Steve Cohen is a benevolent and kind Lord. So good news on that front. I think, still good news. Lindor is hopefully what we remember from January of 2021. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
he's like the ultimate breathman, I feel too. Like that's the one guy who his personality is so big. Hopefully he's going to start doing stuff with the team and you just put this shit behind you. And again, it's a message.
This happening in January is like, if this happens right around the regular season and the Mets go win like 4 out of 5 this week, nobody cares. It's a joke and we move on and it's fine. This is going to fester for the next couple months. Obviously, I know there are more important things, but again, speaking from like a fan point of view, it's like this is going to be an ugly PR cycle until games start and guys like Lindor and them can take your mind off of what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I feel like, and like you said, this thing comes out in 2017. There's a different thing. This thing comes out in like 2007, though. It's probably like, that's crazy. And then the news cycle just moves along. I feel like at least there is progress. Heads are rolling because of it. Hopefully it continues to be like that. And if nothing else, it just has like creeps like Jared Porter think twice about doing this kind of shit to anyone. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Do you want to go see this guy warm up on the Dodgers play, like see him at Dodger Stadium? What kind of again, people that do not live in reality, like,
and for a girl he just ran into in an elevator
with a language barrier to the point that she needed someone else to respond to the text message. Like, leave me alone.
Like that's some predatory shit. That's what I'm like. You've never have you ever been on like a date or talked to a girl or anything ever that like you see one woman in a fucking elevator and you like dedicate your entire month to her? It's like, what the fuck, man.
So is the story though that she was still in the industry until recently, and that's the reason they sat on? I mean, like you said,
says ESPN.
Yeah, so says he's because they have to look. They don't. It would look bad if that wasn't the case. I just hope that that's the case, not them holding out until he became this like prominent public figure.
I mean, she might have saw it's like when someone runs for president and a woman comes out and is like, yeah, it happened a long time ago, but I don't want a guy like this being my president. So
yeah,
I could see her being like, oh my God, he's at like the top of an organization now. Maybe it's time for me to speak out. There could be good reasons. There could be shitty reasons. There's definitely a discussion to be had about that process. But when the evidence is such as this, like if there was some gray area and you waited till he was GM and this and that, and it was kind of like, well, I don't know, they went on a couple dates or they did have a relation, if there was some argument to be made, but there just is none. In this case, like maybe there's a discussion about why it came out now, but when the result is this and you see like the evidence backing it up, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, just like get that dude out of here.
Hard counsel. Jared Porter is a hard counsel. He's out. He's gone. Get him the fuck out of here. Spray some fucking Febreze in the background. Get the stench of him, and then hopefully everyone goes on from here, man. Shit. This podcast, like I don't know how we never had a Mets podcast, but I like sometimes I'm so happy we have it, and then I'm like, this is such a goddamn curse. It's truly the gift and the curse. Perfectly balanced. All things should be. I mean, I'm gonna go back to our Beltran's hired, Beltran's fired, and now Mets hired Jared Porter, Mets fired Jared Porter.
Forever a trivia answer now. Like which team in the matter of one season had a manager and a GM not make it to the first game of the season? Meet the Mets. So crack open a nice cold Coors Light and wash this away. Drink it down. Get rid of the Jared Porter taste in your mouth with a great taste Coors Light. Brewed in Colorado. Delicious cold Blue Mountains. The official beer of us here at We Gotta Believe. The official beer over at Citi Field. We'll be drinking.
Celebrate responsibly.
Celebrate responsibly. Everybody do everything responsibly right now. Keep your composure. Maintain your maturity. Let's go. Drink your Coors Light wisely, and you'll be enjoying it all season at Barstool at the ballpark. Be on the lookout for when that officially goes on sale. If we're allowed to have fans in the stands, move on from Jared Porter. Don't be a creep, and keep your eye on the prize with the Lindors of the world, and I guess we're back to I guess we have to believe.
Gotta believe. You got to jump off a bridge to fucking clean this shit, clear the aura. We got to believe.
Gotta find a bridge. I don't know now. I don't know if I can be coming myself right now. It's not. Maybe I can just jump off the bridge. I think I need
jump off the bridge. I think we can do that. I think we can do that.